They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Now, I know that's not really the definition. It's obviously watching the Bruins play a dominant game only to trip and fall into the penalty box and totally blow a winnable game nearly every night. At this point, this is the team, so can we or should we expect any other result? This is a Bruins tape-to-tape snapshot.
The Boston Bruins continue to play undisciplined hockey at the worst possible times, and it will be their demise if they have any hope of making a push for a playoff spot, even in the wildcard standings. On Tuesday night, the Bruins lost to the Seattle Kraken 7-2, and the unraveling occurred this time with less than 2 minutes left in the second period. With the score tied 2-2, thanks to two beautiful goals from David Pastrňák, Mason Lohrei gets out-muscled once again and then proceeds to screen Jeremy Swayman, and Cartier puts one by Swayman to make it 3-2. And then it gets really good. Alex Steves is called for slashing, and the Bees give up a power play goal to make it 4-2. And wait for it, folks. This all happened with less than 2 minutes remaining in the second period. The Kraken pulled ahead in the third period with an even-strength goal by Capo Caco, and Berkeley Caton added a power play goal to make the score 6-2. The Boston Bruins gave up 3 power play goals on 4 opportunities. Marco Sturm needs to get his head out of his ass and get these penalties under control. I don't know what he needs to do to get it through their thick skulls that they are costing themselves game after game after game as a result of this undisciplined and unnecessary play. Stick infractions, hooking, slashing, tripping. It's inexcusable at this point in time. We keep talking about this over and over again. And let me just also add, the goaltending has not been what we've expected it to be during the starting, I would say, in the month of November. And here is a fun fact from our friend Ty Anderson of 98.5 The Sports Hub and also host of the AT&T Hockey Show. Jeremy Swayman, when making his 4th appearance in 7 days this season, has an 0-2-1 record with 16 goals allowed on 78 shots for a .795 save percentage. That stinks. In addition to that, you have Jonas Korpisalo sitting there for extended periods of time with no gameplay. Now, I don't know who's making these decisions, but it seems to me that goalie Bob should have an awareness and an understanding of who's ready to go and when that goalie is ready to go. And if he's being overruled by Marco Sturm, then that's a bigger problem because the game against Seattle marks at least the 4th or 5th time this season where Jeremy Swayman has given up 5, 6, or 7 goals. That simply is not a winning formula from your $8 million franchise goalie.
Boston is home for a bit and they host the Calgary Flames on Thursday night. Since the Bees' overtime loss last week, Calgary has won 1 and lost 3. With Corpy in the net, the Bruins are the slight favorites to win tonight. Dustin Wolf was in net on Wednesday night in Montreal, so the Bruins will face Devin Cooley, a netminder who has gone 4-4-2 this season, but he boasts a stingy 2.40 goals against average and .914 save percentage. Naturally, I expect him to have the best game of his life in Boston. To make matters worse for the Bruins, they've been surpassed by the Maple Leafs in the standings in spite of having 2 more wins. Stupid loser points. At this rate, Boston is looking at a projected final points total of only 88. That's gross. Make sure you rate and review the podcast to help us reach more listeners, and tune in weekly to our full podcast available on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and all podcast platforms.